Jesus and the executive committee of the disciples take a day hike.
As they rest at the top of the mountain, Jesus starts glowing like the sun. Ancient prophets appear from nowhere, talk with him, and then disappear again. Peter tries to make sense of it all. James and John bear witness. God speaks from the cloud. Jesus says, "Do not be afraid." And they go down the mountain, back to regular life, whatever that is when you hang out with the Messiah. This is the final act of the season after the Epiphany, a season that is all about the light of God's saving love shining to every corner of the earth. Holy love made manifest in Jesus, bringing the promise and hope of flourishing for every single person. No matter who you are, what you believe, or what you've done or left undone. Jesus' transfiguration is the penultimate moment of this season. Light doesn't get much brighter than the pure divine brightness of transfiguration. And before our eyes, that holy light transforms from vision of glory into a means of grace. Transfiguration reveals Jesus as he will look post-resurrection. A glimpse into the future when the completeness of God's vision is coming to be. And then he returns to his non-glowing self, descends from the mountain, and starts on his journey toward Jerusalem and his death. A journey we make with him during Lent, as our steps also get more measured and intentional in the approach to Holy Week. With Peter and James and John, we stand in a now and not yet moment in Jesus' life and ministry. The now of dazzling white, voice from heaven, awe-inspiring moment of the future revealed, and the not yet of this moment Jesus, who 6 days earlier prophesied his own passion, death on the cross, and resurrection. Even if we don't know every detail of what the coming days hold, we realize, along with Jesus and the disciples, that change is happening. And you've got to love Peter, trying to figure out what to do as he witnesses something completely mind-blowing. I mean, just half a chapter earlier, Jesus tells him he will be the foundation of the church. A church that is yet unformed and will require his beloved friend to die. Talk about responsibility for an unknown future. And so here on the mountaintop, he wants to do something. Moses spent 40 days on the mountaintop when he received the 10 Commandments. If he's here now, maybe we're staying a while. Let's build some shelter and stay right here in this once-in-a-lifetime holy moment. Capture the power, the brilliance, the assurance that this is God's Son, the promise and declaration of God's delight. Peter wants to capture the now. Hold on to it so he can remember it later when this certainty feels so far away. We know that desire to extend a rare and holy moment of stability, to capture the moment and hold on. Holding on to the now sets aside critique and savors the light. All the feelings, the gratitude for what was and is that brought us to this moment. The alternative to holding on is letting the now slip by, unnoticed, unclaimed, uncelebrated. Holding on is necessary to the next moment, which is letting go. If our fingers are not tightly wrapped around now, we cannot let go and find out what is not yet. The not yet is inevitably different from where we are now. A transformation that we do not and cannot fully know or understand. These moments of holding on while letting go happen in all our lives, because our lives are constantly in motion, full of growth and change in our relationships, our health, our vocations. We celebrate life's milestones, anniversaries and birthdays, the new life of birth and death, significant moments of transition in school and jobs and accomplishments. Every one of them, a moment holding the tension of letting go with the hope of living into fullness and flourishing. It is uncomfortable in that space of unknowing, of in between, of grieving what was while waiting for the fullness of joy that blooms in what will be. At the same time, we know that change, growth, transfiguration is the way forward, the way into flourishing. Even if we don't like not knowing all the details, even when we are tempted to build dwellings and stay in the fleeting, glorious moments. We cannot see our lives in the same light after our eyes readjust from glimpsing a future where all God's promises of blessing and the fullness of human flourishing are realized. Transfiguration sanctifies change and growth that shine the light of hope and peace and thriving into our darkest moments. Matthew calls Jesus Emmanuel, God with us, reminding us to look for God among us in individual people and in the world, in the creation around us, and in every moment of our lives. In mind-blowing mountaintop experiences and back down on the plain, walking the valleys, the winding and sometimes rocky road with us. In our moments of holding on, and in our moments of letting go. God with us. As we prepare ourselves for Lent, what does it look like to hold on to our baptism, our community around God's table, our sense of God's many blessings, and our desire for God's vision for the future, while loosening our hold on nostalgia, certainty, on the crucifixion? Join us on Wednesday, Ash Wednesday, at 12:15 or 7 p.m. to begin our journey toward Jerusalem. Listening, noticing God with us, holding on, and letting go.